Hello guys, just have to bear with me because I'm just getting my breath back because I've been out here with my headphones on skating around. But I really wanted to show you something, but I don't know how to show you because it's an invasion of privacy, and obviously there's a protection of identity of people. But I've got the basketball courts next to me at the moment, and I can tell you right now on the basketball court there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different nationalities. And that is what I love about where I live here. That is the one thing that I do love about where I live. That just now, I can't really show you, but if you can just see over my shoulder, there is literally 13 different nationalities, cultures playing basketball together. And this is why I get so frustrated when I see things like Black Lives Matter, because I'm not coming from a white supremacy point of view. I'm coming from somebody who lives in a multi-diverse, multinational culture. Because here in Somerstown, where we are, we have Liverpudlians, we have Scousers, we have Polish, we have Iranian, we have literally, where I can see now. If you don't want to sneak through that way, you can get through that way and just say you didn't see it through there. So I would say that we have Iranian, Jamaican, Afghanistan. I know Afghanistan. I'm going to come under here because it's starting to rain. Chinese, Israelian. Hang on, I know these kids, so I should be able to get this right. He's Turkish. He's Polish. He is Nigerian. He's Ganda. He is actually what is called a nigger. He's from Nigger, which is a place in that area that's called Nigger, so they are niggers. He is American Afghanistan. And then obviously I am Southern English. So literally within my own block we have Hispanic. We occasionally see American around here. We don't discriminate against the Americans. But one thing that became very clear to me in the conversation that I was having with somebody that I hope is somebody that I'm going to sit down and really put minds together and be able to give myself. I said brainwashing, he said brain cleansing, so I like the brain cleansing. So hopefully he's going to sit and go through all my crack book and tell me what and where this information is coming from. And of course he is higher spec autism than me, so he can retain far more information than me. Because he's coming from an ethical hacker's point of view, he knows more. I've just got Iranian and Polish as I go past. He knows much more about the Freemason lodges and the history of. There's a program I'm going to watch, and I'm going to have to message him and ask him what it was. I'm just going to come around here because I'm getting caught out in the pissing down rain a minute. If I'm going fast, it's because probably. On. So I'm just going to come up here for a minute. So hello there, Linda. Hello, Claire. Hello there, Tina. Another Claire. Is it two Claires or same Claires? Same Claires. Hello, love. You all right, mate? Good. So for somebody who deals with probably over 3,000-4,000 people just in this zone a day, or whenever I come out over the space of a week, because it really is like that. I got back from the beach in the right time, didn't I? Dean's going to be laughing now that I'm caught out in the rain, but I'm actually going to go and pretend I've got music in my ears now, because I love it. I love it. Love it, 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 absolutely love it. I just don't love my phone getting wet, because of course it's cracked, and that's about the only thing. So I'm trying to cover the top of my phone so my phone doesn't get wet. And that's about all I care about right now, because the screen is actually open. So I tell you what, let's protect it with my hat. So let's protect my phone with my hat for a minute. Hello, people. How can I protect my hat? I need to protect my phone. In fact, let me come over here because I have to protect my phone, because if I get any water in it, it's just going to go. And in fact, actually, everyone's going to come under the tree, so they might let me get away with this for a minute. Hang on. Oh no, them guys are all carrying on. So anyway, I have to be careful because I am coming under a tree with other people and I am live, so I don't want to get other people's voices in. But the reason that I'm standing under All Lives Matter is because I don't see colour. And I don't believe that just because Michael Jackson turned around and said, we're all black and white, we're not all black and white. That's the realities of it. We're not all black and white. And it's not even about the countries that we came into. I would love to actually ask a few more people around it. Because I'm live, I can't really do so. But what I might do is go and put a live t-shirt on and speak to many Nigerian, African, American African, and ask them how they feel about the white man calling them the black man. Because what I see is racists starting to wake up to the fact that it really upset them to see a American African. George was not a black man, he was American African. So Caribbean, sorry. So he was American Caribbean, so he's from the Caribbean. And people are really narrow-minded. As I said to you, when we went to the Anonymous and I went up and I shook the hands of a guy that I thought was Chinese, and I said, "Ni hao," and he went, "I am not Chinese, I am Gurkha," and I sat back and I felt so ashamed. And if anybody has seen the film The Crash, there's an incident where the man calls her, I can't think what he calls her, Mexican, and she says, "I am not Mexican, I am native Indian," yeah? And this is where we, the white people, are racist, because we believe that we grew up with Oxfam and all of these things talking about Africa, and people seem to believe that white people come from England, black people come from Africa, Indian people come from the East, and Chinese come from the West. How narrow-minded is that? So anyway, you've got a massive opportunity right now to look at the world from the rockets. And the rockets up there can show you the whole world, okay? Now, I need everybody to be aware of your phones, how your phones are leading to whether or not I am more than a metre apart from the people around me. Any person who has the vaccine tracker on you, please remove yourself from me right now, because I don't want to be part of that, because if you have it, I get pulled. So I don't want to be part of that. As I told you, and I will say it again, that COVID-19 stands for Certificate of Vaccination Identification 2019, and then they will produce the 2020 Certificate of Vaccination Identification. It basically means that you have a passport that says that you have been vaccinated and you are immune. That's not true. New viruses come. You're going to need, like, take the flu vaccination. It's every year. The flu vaccination, every year. So I told you, I don't know what else to say about it other than the fact that I'm getting so smug, because as things are coming around, I'm feeling told you so, told you so, told you so. It's just come out in the papers that they've now come up with this whiz idea to give you an immunity passport, which is basically what I was telling you. But this is preparation for the 1 million people that are going to Mars. This is something bigger than you could ever imagine. And there's good and there's polarity in all things. It's just that some people don't use things for good because their intentions is not for good. Some people, it's about control and power. There are targets for the police, there are targets for social care, and like this report that I'm going to have to do. So basically, because I've dealt with like 8 social workers and neither of them can pinpoint, they have to refer me over to a psychiatrist. Now it's going to have to go to legal planning. Why does it go to legal planning? It goes to legal planning because social workers don't have a budget for psychological reports. So therefore they have to do an assessment on me to find out if there is anything wrong with me. Now, they are going to put me with somebody who is not Asperger's, so I'm not going to be with Bow and Cowan or anybody like that. I'm going to push for this. I'm going to argue this. I'm going to stand my ground on this. They're going to do exactly what they did with Aaron and Faith, and that is that they produced a psychological report based on all of my paperwork, and then right at the end of it, it said that this needed a medical person, and she even stated it, that it needed a medical person looking at it. It's at the bottom of the report. This was not done because there was no EDS specialists, and they were saying that EDS was the easiest condition to claim to have, so trying to prove that I'm such a raving nutter that I would munch and housingly hurt myself and my children. So this psychological report is not to say, hey Kelly, you've got so much trauma, darling, we're going to get to the root of the problem with it, this is going to be the solution, and this is the help that you're going to have. What it is to give grounds to take me to court for either removal, and they will say it will take a lifetime for healing, and therefore grounds for removal. Dean is still blind to this. He still believes that I'm wrapped up in some form of conspiracy. However, speaking to my friend today has confirmed everything that I have been saying. And also, somebody like me has had psychological reports done on me since I was 3. I'm very gifted, very talented, and people know this about me, and they know that I have been a watcher pretty much all my life because my physical body doesn't quite work the way that I need it to, having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and being on the autistic spectrum. So I'm a dog with a bone, and I'm not going to stop until I've achieved what I set out to do. I set out to set a new standard here in Great Britain that would ultimately set a precedence for around the world as a pilot study. I was moving it in Preston, and I was going to do the pilot there. I'm now going to move that pilot here to Portsmouth. Portsmouth seems the best place that I can potentially move a new model. Yes, it's systematic, but it's a system that comes from within you, designed by you, for you, and for you to be in control. No chair should be seated over you. All support should be personal centered because it is about you and your family. Psychological report should not be for the system, it should be for me. But it doesn't work that way because it's multi-agency, and that information is shared between all parties, which is a violation of my right to a private life. Someone like me can only heal when you deal with what my trauma is. If you do not, say I was a child telling you that I have been raped, and you're saying no, and you start putting systems around me because I am a liar and attention seeker, you are not going to deal with my trauma. You are going to put trauma on trauma on trauma. Trauma is something real. It is something that changes your brain. It changes your DNA. It changes who you are. It is like a rabbit trapped in the headlight. And if you know deers, and you know if a deer goes off track and then it stops, and they call it, literally, I can't think what they call it, there's a word for it, it's like being frozen, rabbit trapped in headlights, and it can cause for people to just spin and spiral. Luckily, somebody like me has a lot of tools, so I can do what's called a self-analysis as much as I can. Other people don't have these tools, which is why most people are still in their beds, most people are in depression, most people are still in that rabbit. My kids are gone, trauma. Most people are still there. You can only have people come in as a shining beacon and light, which is why I cried when I interacted with this person today.